Thanks for joining us. I got a room full here at Velma Jackson, and we're also recording this for our friends Tammy Sharp at Shirley Simmons Middle School, Angela Reed and Jatoria Kirksey at Old Town Middle School, and Vicky Parts at Germantown High School. So a lot of young people are going to learn, all of our STEM classes are going to learn about what all Jackson State has and what all you do over there. We did look at your website and saw some of your research interests and some of the things that you do. So, and I know that's a newer engineering program you guys have over there. It's one of the up and coming ones in the country. So you can tell us a little bit about what exactly you do and what all programs you guys offer and some of the things you research.
Okay, now for me, I'm a professor of industrial systems and technology, specifically in the area of emergency management. So I can give you a general overview of what we have in the College of Science and Engineering and Technology. However, we do have specific recruiters for that.
Oh, absolutely.
So I can today I have a presentation. If I'm able to share that about a particular program that I help to oversee.
Oh, absolutely.
And that's called the Community Resilience Project at Jackson State. And I can give you a brief overview of who I am and what I do, and then I can tell you about our CREATE program, what it is that we do, and the majors that are a part of that, and and then after that, give you an overview of the College of Science, Engineering, and Technology majors. Awesome. But like I said, our dean's office would have recruiters specifically designed for science, engineering, and technology.
Okay.
Okay, so I'm ready whenever you are.
Oh, go ahead. You have an opportunity to share.
Okay, give me just a moment. I'm going to share our screen here. And with us having multiple schools, I want to welcome everybody. I'm Dr. Jessica Murphy. I'm a professor in the department or the program of Industrial Systems and Technology. My whole department is Civil Engineering, Civil and Environmental Engineering, and Industrial Systems and Technology. That's one big department. However, I'm specifically in the Industrial Systems and Technology program. And in Industrial Systems and Technology, my area of focus is emergency management. Now, emergency management was not an academic major overall some years ago. However, because of 9/11, because of the terrorist impact and threats, the U.S. Department of Homeland Security was established, and between FEMA, which is the Federal Emergency Management Agency, and the U.S. Department of Homeland Security is a sub area or another agency under FEMA, both decided that we needed an academic major to address those needs, especially even in dealing with natural disasters as well, from floods to hurricanes. And of course, us staying here in the state of Mississippi, we are impacted by floods, hurricanes, tornadoes, and even earthquakes, believe it or not. And with you guys being in Velma Jackson, you can possibly attest that in the county of Madison, there were some earthquakes within recent years, although albeit small on the Richter scale in comparison, but there were some earthquakes. So Mississippi experiences quite a bit of natural disaster. Nevertheless, we do have some impact that we have to be prepared for man-made disasters as well. Thus, in 2011, Jackson State University established the first emergency management academic concentration in the technology department here in the area. So I'm a part of, or my particular program is a part of the College of Science, Engineering, and Technology. And in the science, engineering, and technology, we're encouraged to develop grant projects. That's one, that's going to help prepare our students. Two, that's going to further research, further professional development, and basically provide a smooth school to work transition that's going to direct our students to a demanding workforce, but also with the skills equipped to be an asset to that workforce.
Absolutely. So, we really try to push that same principle about having the marketable skills that are so in need right now in a changing, and as technology changes, work skills are changing as well.
Oh, most definitely. So with that technology changing, but also now what we follow or me specifically, I follow the Bureau of Labor Statistics. And the Bureau of Labor Statistics is going to give us information of what's the current what's the current status on the demand for a particular career, specifically in emergency management and technology related areas. So we actually married those two areas together. But we wanted to take a multidisciplinary approach. So that's why you'll see at the title here that I have a research partner that I work with in psychology. Now, psychology is not, or our psychology program is not specifically in the College of Science and Engineering and Technology. That's under our College of Liberal Arts. Okay. However, psychology is a demand, and especially as we see here in the environment of COVID, that mental health, mental wellness is a very big issue. But we do have to realize that psychology is also a science. It's a social science. So while we developed the concept of this community resilience project at Jackson State, we married emergency management, technology, and psychology. But you'll also see some other areas too. So emergency management, I'm not going to give you all the definition here, but it's basically how do we decrease danger? How do we handle catastrophe? How do we mitigate and plan? And most importantly, how do we recover, and how do we as a society bounce back? So that's one of the things, or one of the signature programs at Jackson State. We're helping to develop our students to transition smoothly from the work, from the academic, the school, to a smooth transition to the workforce. So the vision for the community resilience at Jackson State, again, to build community resiliency throughout Mississippi, but we also want to be a model too. But we also want to help develop contemporary skills of emergency management, disaster management, with a multidisciplinary approach. So with this, we included industrial systems technology, specifically the emergency management concentration. We have an outstanding meteorology program. And guess what? The state of Mississippi has 2 meteorology programs, academic programs, one being premier here at Jackson State. But the special part about that program at Jackson State is that it's we're in partnership with, again, all of the majors that you see here before us. And of course, the next academic program in meteorology is at Mississippi State. And I am proud to say I am an alum of Mississippi State University. I didn't graduate from the meteorology program, but I am a graduate 2 times over from the technology program.
And the meteorology program at Jackson State, if I'm not mistaken, is the only HBCU meteorology program in the country, if I'm not mistaken.
There is a program I believe at Howard University. Okay. But I know specifically here in the state of Mississippi, we have the 2, Jackson State and Mississippi State University. So we also have in partnership with the psychology, as I mentioned earlier, but I'll also add 2 more, computer science. And computer science at Jackson State is one of our the nation's leading academic programs, yep, as well as journalism and media studies. Now, the interesting part about our journalism and media studies is that in journalism and media studies is also under the College of Liberal Arts, but journalism and media studies works closely with our meteorology and atmospheric science programs. Why? Because we have to have broadcast meteorologists, and the broadcast meteorologists have to be able to adequately and efficiently communicate weather events, such as we do have a major weather event that's proposed to or projected to occur this upcoming Wednesday. So we have to have, again, that multidisciplinary skill set there. That's
great. That's funny you say that, because we're having Scotland Williams Friday. And that's what me and her have talked about. She has the meteorology, science, technology background, but she also has to be able to get on TV and talk about it. So you're right, it is a multidisciplinary skill.
And we do have some stellar, I would say, journalism and media studies professors who are in the program and work specifically with our under our community resilience umbrella. So Jackson State promotes what we call One Jackson State, where we're reaching across the board, working with other departments. And as we're working with those other departments, again, we're bringing that skill set back to the classroom, communicating that and drilling and practicing that with our students, but it helps to develop a well-rounded student.
Absolutely.
So of course, with the role of technology in emergency management, we're looking at developing various types of applications, technology applications that can be used to help forecast, that can be used to help in some way of adequately planning. And of course, every phase of emergency management. The social media platforms. These social media platforms helps not just to reach our what is it, our generation, our Z generation, generation we're in now, but of course multi generations utilizes social media. So we do want to be able to adequately use, say, social media to convey various messages. And of course, notification, early notification.
Oh, absolutely.
So what we're in the midst of now at Jackson State, especially in regards to our community resilience project, we're looking to develop, or we're in the process, let me correct that, we're in the process of developing a state-of-the-art laboratory, because we don't want to just have you in the classroom and just give you a bunch of theory. Now we want you to take the hands-on approach. We want you to be able to get in there and actually do the drill in practice. And this is, we're incorporating a simulator that's a 3-dimensional virtual reality that gives you the different situations, be it man-made or natural. And of course, you as the student or you as the professional are working on these particular scenarios. And then from there, it gives you feedback on how you can better respond. So this is ideal for our first responders, or even those who are doing the planning and the training for the first responders before they go out into the field. And with this, and of course, as you can see at the bottom here, you have your law enforcement, you have your medical paramedics, you have your fire, but you would also have your crisis negotiators. All of these people are in the room and having to partake in these various types of scenarios and make decisions on the best way to respond. And of course, me being the professor, as well as the software that's installed, will provide feedback on how you can more adequately respond to an incident.
That's incredible.
So hopefully by spring, no later than summer of 2022, we will have a full state-of-the-art system called the Advanced Disaster Management System. So we're looking forward to some students who will be able to engage in that. And for you, for your the faculty, once we get this set up, you're more than welcome to we arrange something with us, and you can come over and take a tour of this
laboratory. Once they lift our COVID restrictions, I'd love to bring some kids over there. That's incredible.
Yes, once we get past these COVID restrictions, and well, then of course we know the restrictions are in place for our safety, but hopefully we can persevere and get past this whole COVID situation relatively soon and have some. I use the terminology new normal. Get to a new normal. A lot of people may not like the term new normal, but I use the term new normal as an emergency manager or emergency manager professor, in the sense of when certain things happen and we've changed our infrastructure, we've changed our approach, that's a new normal. I use the example of if a house burns down, you can rebuild the house, but it's not the same house that you had previously.
Yeah.
So therefore, you're getting to a new normal in that new house. So we're establishing a new normal, but saying, I'll like to say, once we've gotten back into a more steady flow of our new normal, hopefully we can have you as the instructors, your students to come over and visit our laboratory. once we complete the construction of it. But we actually have the simulator on the way, and we're
Wow.
ordering additional equipment.
That's
But
awesome.
all of this is made possible through funding from the U.S. Department of Homeland Security. The U.S. Department of Homeland Security really wants to promote the education of emergency management and homeland security through our four-year institutions, thus providing scholarship opportunities, as well as the National Science Foundation. We are also funded by the National Science Foundation through the HBCU UPS program. And I'm going to tell you about those projects in just a moment. But meteorology's role in emergency management, disaster preparedness, again, the forecasting, as we see that we have a forecasted storm coming on Wednesday, all the way to considerations for transportation, architecture, and other things that will weather events and how they would impact our operational flow, if you will, from psychology, from having our basic needs. How do we feel when we don't have those basic needs accessible, emotional support, so on and so forth. And we've already talked about journalism and media studies, making sure that we get adequate information out there, the correct information out there in a timely enough manner. So I want to share with you our research team. These are some of the persons that are helping to make sure that we get the message out, that we share information about Jackson State from, as you can see in the upper.
I had Dr. Walter's daughter in a class, and then we read about Mr. Parker on our website, News ELA. So that's two
Okay,
good ones
great.
right there. Yeah.
So yes, you see me in the upper left-hand corner, upper right corner, my research partner. She's the project lead in psychology, Dr. Dawn McLean. Dr. Elaine Hayes Anthony, I'm going back to the center left, is the department's chair of journalism and meteorology. Not meteorology, media studies. We have Professor Don Spann, who is our senior personnel, but in addition to that, Professor Spann helps us or takes the lead on developing outstanding videos. He's an outstanding videographer and cinematographer who I would say we have darn near Hollywood caliber short videos about our weather projects. We've done virtual trainings and videos on tornado preparedness for dormitories, the stadium, and the overall communities.
Yeah, I've seen some of those. Those are incredible.
Oh, great! So he's the mastermind behind that, and of course, Mr. Bill Parker is our meteorologist in charge at the National Weather Service, and he has been an avid supporter of basically all things Jackson State, but any way he can help to recruit and direct students to our science programs at Jackson State, he is an advocate for that. And of course, our dean, Dr. Wilbur Walters, who helps to oversee everything. But we also have some additional persons, Dr. April Tanner, who's our lead in computer science, and cybersecurity is an emergency issue. And Dr. Tanner can help in light of teach our students the latest in app development, cybersecurity awareness, and various programs to assist with that, as well as all things computer science.
Awesome.
So let me see if I can, let me check again, see if I can get our video working here. And if I can't get our video working, maybe I'll try it on the back end if we have time. So that's basically it in a nutshell about our community resilience project at Jackson State. Now, I did say I would share with you under the College of Science, Engineering, and Technology, which programs we have. Science and Engineering and Technology has a very rich has a very rich wealth of knowledge and majors, all the way from your general sciences, from biology, physics, chemistry, to, of course, you saw meteorology and atmospheric sciences. You have mathematics education. And again, as I stated, my program of industrial systems and technology with the emergency management as a concentration. Then we have our various engineerings, from civil and environmental engineering and computer engineering and electronics engineering. And also, trying to make sure I haven't missed anything, we have a data science program, I believe it is. And seems like I'm missing a program, but those are basically the general programs in the College of Science, Engineering, and Technology. But as you can see, we work across the board with our College of Liberal Arts, we work with our College of Business, and we work with our College of Public Health. And again, our program is funded, our project here, the Community Resilience Project, which I spoke early throughout my presentation, is funded by the U.S. Department of Homeland Security. We actually have 3 awards from the U.S. Department of Homeland Security. One is from the Coastal Resilience area, and the other is the Scientific Leadership. Now, I want to tell you a little bit about the Scientific Leadership Project. The Scientific Leadership Project, again, it supports our endeavor for community resilience. However, it's more of an academic training and scholarship program. And I would like to share with you information regarding our scholarship, and would encourage any of your students who are, especially if you are graduating this upcoming May or June, whichever your graduation is, please, if you see that information below or on my on the screen here, my email address is jessica.murphy@jsums.edu. And of course, my phone number is 601-979-1145. And I can direct you to our community resilience website. And if you haven't already gone out there, we do have a community resilience website that features our major sub-project called CREATE. CREATE stands for Community Resilience, Engaging Advanced Training and Education. And that's where our scholarship program is hosted. Scholarship program is specifically for those who aspire to major in emergency management. And again, that's under our industrial systems and technology program, psychology, and computer science. Again, that's the emergency management concentration, psychology, and computer science.
Wow.
And the scholarship is $2,500 per semester for students, qualifying students with a GPA of 3.2 or better. One of the things you would have to do is complete the scholarship application, and I can send you the application information if you'd like.
Okay.
And also be a U.S. Have U.S. citizenship. And with that, we would need proof of citizenship, and that could be in the form of a driver's license or a social security card. And of course, you can blot out the most important part of your information there, like you would only need the last 4 digits of your social. We wouldn't want you to have to send your full social, and or a birth certificate. But all of that information is on the scholarship application. You would need 2 letters of recommendation, and we're asking students to develop roughly a 500-word statement to let us know why you're interested in our program and your career aspirations.
That's awesome.
And here's the big thing. You can get $500 a month that comes directly to you. You can use it for books, you can use it for supplies, you could use it however you deem necessary, but that $500 comes directly to you. That's a monthly stipend. And again, that's $2,500 for tuition each semester, your fall and your spring. $500 a monthly stipend. And that's for students with a 3.2 or better. You complete the application, and of course it has to go through an approval process. At this point, we have 14 scholarships available. Now, after the spring, I'm not sure how many scholarships we'll have available because we already have one who's applied for the spring and another student who's currently on it. We have a total of 15 scholarships spots, but in the spring, I know we'll have 2 of those slots taken. So that leaves us with 13. So if you are graduating and you want to major in emergency management, psychology, or computer science, I will strongly encourage you to complete the application and apply for one of those slots. Now,
that would be stackable on top of the university general scholarships as well, right?
Right.
Okay.
Yes, you are able to receive other scholarships as well, and especially if you're valedictorian, a salutatorian, or you have other scholarships, military or what have you. So yes, this is on top of other scholarships.
Oh, that's great. But I do want to get to some of their questions because I've got a couple of questions. But I wanted to ask. I know a big part of your research is the gender and racial equality in the STEM field. So why is that so important? Because we have so many females and minorities watching now and watching later.
Well, going back to the Bureau of Labor Statistics, for decades, science, especially what we deem as or deemed as hard sciences. Your hard sciences will be your biology, your chemistry, your physics, and even now engineering. Females have been underrepresented. You may go into a class and there's one female student in that class. So your ratio would be maybe somewhere like 4-to-1. It was always a low percentage of females in those areas. So much to the fact that the National Science Foundation has established programs to help to recruit more females, especially females of color, into your hard scientific areas. Research has shown also for years that historically, females were directed to your more liberal arts areas, such as your your English and literature, some of your social sciences, so on and so forth. And males were more directed to your scientific areas. That's in your research. And the Bureau of Labor Statistics it has even shown an inequality, if you will, for women compared to men in your science areas. And personally, I completed programs in pre-engineering and technology.
Wow.
I've taken classes myself where I was the only female and coincidentally the only female and in some instances the only person of color in a classroom.
Wow.
So it's a personal experience for me as well.
That's awesome. Now, I want to get to a couple of theirs. This is Jay Ashton Williams, and he's a 9th grader, and he asked, "What made you want to be a professor?"
For my dissertation, actually, I had 2 career avenues I was exploring. I was considering going directly into industry as I was pursuing. I started off in basically industrial engineering and completed in industrial technology. And I was looking to go into industry. However, as I began my dissertation work, I started seeing even more of the gender equality, as well as started to develop a desire for the teaching aspect. And in addition to teaching, knowing on a 4-year institution, I could not just teach, but also develop research projects that
Absolutely.
could better help be it the community, be it the academic community, the body of knowledge, as well as help to prepare students for the workforce. That helped to fuel my drive to become a professor.
That's awesome. This is Alonzo Johnson. He's also a 9th grader, and he asked, "What is the favorite project you've ever worked on?"
Actually, I'm in my favorite project now, working on the emergency
cool.
management.
Yeah.
and especially with us working with the National Weather Service, weather has always been an intrigue and a passion of mine. And when we were able to work with the Weather Service, and they're such supportive partners, it helped to just really kind of tie into how we could better prepare, how could we could help to change the lives of communities. Because when we get this information out to communities, not only are we just sharing knowledge, but we are helping people to possibly save lives and save property. And that's the key foundation for emergency management, and that is a passion for all of us to help to minimize loss of life and property.
That's awesome. This is Trevion Blackman. He's also a ninth grader, and this is a great question. He asked, "How do you stay abreast of developments in technology?"
One, through a lot of research. As professors, we don't just teach, and I'm not saying K through 12 teachers don't research, but our primary job is to research, and we have to come back and teach what we've discovered. So, be it through our own personal research, through participating in ongoing trainings from various conferences. I'm a part of multiple professional organizations. And again, with those professional organizations, these are conferences, workshops, seminars. All of these help us in training on those new and developing technologies.
And I think no matter what field you go into, that's extremely important to be a part of that, because even if you're not in a technology-based field, being a part of those professional organizations through networking and conferences, that's always going to keep you up to date on the developments in technology, because it's going to be in every field, not just the one you're in.
Right.
This is Brian McMurtry. He's a 10th grader, and he asked, "What motivates you to keep working?"
What motivates me to keep working? Again, sharing information to the communities, preparing the next generation for the workforce. And then a big motivation for me, to sum it up, is when I have a student that I've seen matriculate through the 4 years in my program at Jackson State, and then they come back and they're at they've secured gainful employment, they've secured a quality position, and they'll say, and even have emails to speak to it, well, I was able to acquire this because of what I've learned in your class.
That's awesome. It's the same thing for me. I share that sentiment with you. I got one more from a student. This is James Love. He's a sophomore. And he asked, if someone went through your program, what would be the salary range they could attain once they complete the program?
Oh, that's wonderful. I usually state that earlier on in my presentation. So if I'm remembering correctly from the Bureau of Labor Statistics, and you'll hear me refer back to such credible documents as the Bureau of Labor Statistics, because we do want to not just go on our own knowledge and experience, but we want something to validate what we're stating.
Absolutely.
So going back to the Bureau of Labor Statistics, with emergency management, I believe the median salary for an emergency manager, and this is starting off with a bachelor's degree, is roughly about $50,000+. Now, in addition to that, because natural disasters happen, man-made disasters happen, and man-made disasters can be, and I gave you a brief definition of natural disasters, but man-made disasters can be anywhere from school violence, and that could be from bullying to actual fights and altercations, threats, and can escalate all the way up to, far as definition of man-made disasters, to terrorism. Actually, we are in the middle of a what's considered a man-made disaster now, because pandemics are considered man-made disasters. Right? And someone may ask, why is a pandemic? I would say, in my own personal perception of it, because it's something like a COVID is transmitted from one person to another. I'm not saying a person created and released COVID. I'm saying it's transmitted from one person to the next.
That's a very good distinction.
So going back to address because people have to work overtime, bonuses and overtime could range anywhere from roughly about $900 to $10,000.
Wow.
So there's a big range, if you will, in the salary. But a basic salary with a BS degree, and that depends on which state that you're in as well, roughly about $50,000+ a year. And there is a demand up until we are in 2021. So in 2031, the demand for emergency managers or people with some type of scientific, technological emergency management related tie-in is, I believe, 11%, which is faster than the demand for other professions. So I say all that to say, good salary, and there's always going to be work in it. I have students who graduated from my program who work with local agencies and work with FEMA. I actually had a student to graduate, and she's now also oversee my master's program. I'm the director of the master's program in technology education, but I'm going to speak specifically about our undergraduate programs. But a student graduated past spring, and she entered my master's program, but she wanted to also work full time. So I connected her with a student who had graduated a couple of years ago who's at FEMA. So now both students are working. I have a slate of students who work with FEMA.
Cool. And Dr. Murphy, we're almost out of time, but I do have just two more before we go. One is just what we have so many great colleges in the state of Mississippi. So what sets Jackson State apart in having that HBCU experience that these students can really get something to further their education and further their career?
Okay, let me make sure I'm understanding your question correctly. What sets Jackson State apart?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, one, Jackson State is the only urban university in the state of Mississippi. That's one. Two, Jackson State is ranked according to the U.S. News and World Report as one of the top HBCUs in the nation. Three, Jackson State is the only HBCU in the state of Mississippi that has a fully accredited engineering program. So for students who are interested in engineering, that would be Jackson State would be an ideal place for you. And also, Jackson State is a Research 2 institution in the state of Mississippi. You have Mississippi State, Ole Miss, University of Mississippi, they are research institutions as well. Now, of course, I would be remiss to not to say, yes, Alcorn State, Mississippi Valley State, and Tougaloo College, all of these are very good and very well esteemed institutions. But the things I mentioned previously, that's what sets Jackson State apart. And Jackson State does have the only emergency management program in the state of Mississippi and in this region. So, and I could go on about the things that set Jackson State apart. And the last thing I would say, because I am at Jackson State University, and that's what helps set Jackson State apart.
It's just important for our kids to understand all the options they have. But and we thank you so much for joining us. But the last thing I want to ask you, and I ask every speaker the same question, like everybody else in this room, you grew up Black in Mississippi.
Mm-hmm.
So they're going to face obstacles that you have already faced, whether it's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when. It's just the reality of the world we live in. So what can they do, even if they never go to college, if they just go straight to the workforce, even if they don't want to get into technology, what can they do to follow in the footsteps of somebody as successful as you to be as successful as they possibly can be?
Well, thank you for that question. I would say, one, surround yourself with, continue to always learn. Whether I encourage college, I encourage completion of college, I encourage completion of an academic degree that's going to direct you to a career field. However, regardless of what area you decide to pursue and which path you decide to take, always continue to learn, always continue to surround yourself with people who are going to speak positively, speak life into your situation, but also who's going to give you good wisdom on how to pursue things. So surround yourself with good counsel, like your teachers, like people in your community who you've seen successful, and also get a good mentor. I still have strong professional mentors and even personal mentors that I consult to this very day, and I'll do that until we're no longer here. So all surround yourself, identify some good mentors, and bounce information, bounce ideas off of them, and then allow them to help guide you and steer you in the right direction.
All right. Well, that's some good stuff. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you for the invitation.
Oh, and like I said, once we get our COVID restrictions, you get the lab. We'd love to come out and visit. That sounds super cool. That's some
Okay.
stuff. It's amazing all the technology skills that are needed in so many fields. But you guys keep doing what you're doing, and I'll talk to you soon, my friend.
Yes, and by all means, again, for those who are interested in the in our scholarship program, again, we got roughly about 13 more slots to fill. Again, contact me, and we'll try to work with you on getting some scholarships. And
That'd be great.
can you email me the names of all the schools that
I
will
can.
be represented?
I can. No problem at all.
Okay, great. I enjoyed talking with you.
Enjoyed having you. Thank you so much. You have a great day.
All right, you too.